This is a podcast from soof.co.uk. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. This is all about film, whether it be Blu-ray, DVD or streaming. This is Bring the Film. From the award-winning creator Julian Fellows comes the motion picture event Downton Abbey, A New Era. The much-anticipated cinematic return of the global phenomena reunites the beloved cast as they go on a grand journey to the south of France to uncover the mystery of the Dowager Countess's newly inherited villa.
Oh, it was a scavenger hunt, and we needed a chimney pot. But when we got up there, they were huge, so we smashed one and all took a piece.
Oh, was the manager pleased?
Well, it was good publicity.
Is there such a thing as good publicity?
There is if you're in the movies.
Starring HUGH BONNEVILLE, Laura Carmichael, Jim Carter, Brendan Coyle, Michelle Dockery, Kevin Doyle and Joanne Froggatt. And our film correspondent Faye Clearly caught up with Penelope Wilton and HUGH BONNEVILLE about how it felt to get the cast back together during the pandemic for this next Downtown instalment.
It was a wonderful fillip after such a terrible time. We were all sitting at home, not being able to see anyone, least of all the family, and then to have this script come through the door and then say that it was going ahead. And so we were able to come out of our houses again and meet someone other than your next door neighbour was wonderful. And to go away to Highclere, because we were filming there, so we all stayed in the same hotel and in the same wing of the hotel. So it was extremely enjoyable to see everybody again. Also be working when so many of us weren't, and all the theatres were closed and a lot of productions didn't happen. But we just happened to get lucky, and to get a group of us together, as big a group as we are, was a sort of an amazing feat, really.
And Hugh, you were part of the party that went to France. Was that quite a fun experience to bring the Downton gang to somewhere abroad for once?
It was. It was a real breath of fresh air in so many ways, both in terms of the story, opening up the story and filling the big screen. It really does make it a cinematic experience with the wonderful photography of, and the different light in the south of France. And it was great for the characters and, obviously a great enforced holiday at the beginning of the shoot, because we had to quarantine before we could start shooting in the south of France, which was a bit of a tough gig. While it was torrential rain and hurricanes here at home, we were lying by a pool for a week before we could start shooting. So phone calls home were a little tense. But no, it was a great treat to finish the filming in the south of France with our great French cast and crew as well.
I loved watching it. Elizabeth, you got to work with your husband again. What was that like?
I was so proud of him. I was a little bit nervous because I know how challenging it is coming into something like this show because everybody has worked together for so long and the actors all know their characters so well and they don't suffer fools. But he rose to the occasion in a way that I couldn't possibly have anticipated. He had grown in confidence as a director so much since the last time I worked with him. So it was really amazing. I mean, I recommend everybody do something like this with their partner because you see them, you suddenly think, oh, he actually does something. He doesn't just sit around watching TV. It was a complete shock to me. And everybody loved him so much. And he's obviously done such a good job with the movie. I'm so proud because I feel as though Simon's personality really permeates this movie because he is in love with family and he's got a fantastic sense of humor and that reverberates throughout the movie. And I think Simon lifted it. He sort of brought it back to life.
I'd like to ask you all really why Downton is so special and it's so loved by the fans. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's not one reason. I think that it's down to Julian and the fact that he has 18 characters who are sort of leading characters and it's an ensemble piece. So you get all those stories. Often, certainly in the series, you'd get a number, 4 or 5 story strands on each episode. And in the film, there are about 3 or 4 different storylines and everybody has their storyline. Even the smallest little exchange will be somewhere taking the story forward. So he's a great storyteller and it's a page turner. And I think people get very fond of the people, of the different characters. I also think it has a sort of nostalgic feeling going back to that time when people had a more seemingly seemingly more leisurely. Life wasn't quite as fast. I don't think I would have liked to have been there in reality because we didn't have a lot of things that we have now. But it was I think for all those reasons, people have become extremely fond of it. They've engaged with the characters and they want to see what's happening next.
Well, I think that when they first watched the show, they connected the nostalgia of where it was set. And now that they've gotten to know the characters and they're part of their lives in a way. So now they have nostalgia for the time when they first sat down and watched the series for the way the world was then, which is so different to how it was now. And I think it's an entertaining escape for them.
And Hugh, they've summed it up so perfectly. So I want to ask you what your favourite moment was on set, if you had one at all.
Oh my goodness. In the second movie, well, I think I've always, over the years, cherished the moments when the entire cast get together in a scene or sequence, be it the garden party at the end of the very first season when the First World War is announced, or in this encounter where we see all the staff in the dining room in a way we didn't perhaps expect to see them, and all the family there as well. So literally, it was a nightmare for Paul Simon to film because you had not only all of us, or the entire cast, but also an extra added layer of film crew within the film. So that was fun. It was great to see. I love it when everyone's together because that's what it's all about. That's what the audience enjoys.
Hello, Mr. Wolseley. Why are you here?
You know I love anything to do with films.
Well, I know you enjoy a trip to the pictures.
It's more than that. For me, Hollywood is the ultimate dream factory. And I need dreams as much as the next man.
Starring Hugh Bonneville, Laura Carmichael, Jim Carter, Brendan Coyle, Michelle Dockery, Kevin Doyle and Joanne Froggatt. And our film correspondent, Faye Clearly, caught up with Laura Carmichael, Robert James, Ellen Leech and Tuppence Middleton about what it was like filming a Downton wedding.
It's actually kind of like a real wedding day. It was sort of semi-stressful. Lots of fittings.
You shouted at me. It's very like a real wedding day.
Yeah, it rained. It was, but it all turned out right in the end. I think we got about 10 seconds of actual sunshine, which they managed to film, but it was really windy and rainy.
It was a lovely spread, though.
Lovely spread.
Lovely spread.
Lovely spread, yeah.
Very difficult cake
Free
to cut.
bar? Yes.
Of course, the Bransons put on a free bar. Come on, he's Irish.
We cut the cake with a sword. It was all very dramatic. Yeah.
And that was filmed in Suffolk, am I right?
Yes.
How was that to film there? Somewhere slightly different?
Yeah, it was lovely. I mean, this movie definitely deals with very different locations, which was fun.
Yeah.
And that was a really lovely place, actually. A really lovely place.
Nice.
And a church on the grounds, handy.
Very handy.
You know, just to get married and then pop on home. Yeah.
And actually, didn't Phyllis film Lovejoy there?
She did.
So she was very familiar with the grounds. In fact, I think she knew
the
sons, the family that owned
the sons
it.
And I stayed on the grounds.
Yes.
And I stayed in Lovejoy Cabin 1.
That's right. Yeah.
Did you?
I was in Lovejoy Cabin 2, which
is...
They're not called Lovejoy Cabin.
Oh, wicked. I used to love
Stay
Lovejoy.
there. I know, me too.
And you were talking about filming locations, obviously France. What was that like?
It was amazing. Yeah, it was really special. It looks so good, and that's what it looked like. I couldn't believe my eyes. Like every day that we were shooting there, the villa overlooks the sea, and it is so blue, and the colours are just amazing. You see it on screen.
I have a photo that I took of Jim and Laura and background, and every time I show it to them, they're like, "Oh, that's cool. So is that just the green screen? Because it looks so perfect. It looks too perfect." Yeah.
And am I right in thinking that you had your 40th birthday on set?
You're right.
Yeah.
I did.
How was that?
Which is hilarious because it was 5 years early.
That was in Suffolk.
That was in Suffolk. Yeah, that was on my wedding day. I also had my 40th birthday. My fake wedding day.
And how did the Downton family celebrate for you?
Oh, Rob said actually my present was in the mail. I still haven't got it, actually, weirdly. No, it was lovely. It was great. And we had a big cake and we had a curry. Cake and a curry. Nice.
And I'd like to talk a little bit about your character's journey. How was that to play out and see something a little bit different from you?
Yeah, it was nice. That's why I love it when we bring new blood into Downton. So we have the Hollywood film crew and the stars coming, and it just takes characters off in different directions. So obviously Thomas was just fascinated, as all the staff were, with Hollywood, and he embarked upon a new sort of friendship with limitless possibilities, let's say that, which is the name of my band.
Nice. And what was it like working with Dominic?
It's an angst-ridden folk group.
Okay.
Very melancholy. Earthy, though, you know?
You're not going to get him back
I'm
now.
sure it's great.
Alan sometimes does a guest
Dominic?
spot on the mandolin. He's a demon on the mandolin.
And the triangle.
And the triangle.
And Dominic?
And Dominic West had amazing teeth. He's got the best, biggest, whitest teeth I've ever seen in my life. Intimidating at first, but once you get to know him, you're like, wow, I love your teeth.
Good.
It was good. It was better than good. It was unbelievable.
Okay. Tuppence, why do you think Downton is so loved by fans?
I think that it's both Julian's characters that people keep returning to see. They also get to see this world, which I think has always been appealing to on a global scale. This kind of English history change and evolve, and he's just a master at writing characters that audiences want to invest in, and that they keep coming back time and time again to watch.
Well, that's the thing. You guys have worked together for a long time now. Was it like returning to family and friends, being on the set of this movie again?
Yeah, it's like going home at Christmas. You know? So you're with your family, but only for a short time. Which is a good thing. It's a good thing.
So they get irritating after a while.
No, I'm joking. No, it is lovely. It really is.
And it's a lot of the same crew returning as well, so that builds into that sense of family that Alan was alluding to before.
Yeah.
I think every cast says that we're all one big happy family, and it's up to you whether you want to believe that or not. But we are all one big happy family, right?
Yeah, Rob. Yeah.
But a lot of you have gone off and had family changes as well, and that must be quite nice to then catch up, especially post-COVID.
Yeah.
No, it really is. It is lovely, and then to learn how other people have been getting on and what they've been up to. It's always really exciting, and it does feel like, I know Rob's joking, but it does kind of feel like we are a family, and we're always rooting for each other as well, which is nice.
We were just talking about spoilers that we can't give away, but there are lots of crew cameos in the film as well, which feels really significant to us when we watched the movie. I was really moved by all of them, and Alistair Bruce does make another appearance. Eganwood fans will see his 6th or 7th cameo.
He invoices them for it as well. I've seen him. The bare cheek of the man. He's already getting paid for the historical advice. He gets a free dinner. What more do you want, Alistair?
But he doesn't even take his own historical advice.
No problem.
I think this is the most featured he's been as well in any Downton thing. He gets the first.
He's too modern, that vicar. Too modern.
It's Downton Abbey, a new era, and it's available now. And with that, thanks for checking me out on the Bring the Film podcast today. I'm Patrick Downs, and you can keep in touch across Twitter at I'm Patrick Downs, also on Instagram or facebook.com/officialpoptart. And there's also the website soof.co.uk. This is a podcast from soof.co.uk.